Hello and welcome to all of you. You're watching Tech24. I'm Julia Seeger. Now, we've been following the expedition since its debut in 2017. In this edition, we tell you more about Energy Observer, this hydrogen-powered vessel that is sailing across the world, promoting an ecological transition. Our correspondents in California will give us the latest about its first American stopover. And in Test24, we'll stay with the ocean and tell you how the startup Lactips is helping rid seas of traditional plastics with an innovative, high-quality, and 100% bio-based and biodegradable material, a new type of polymer. But first, our guest today is the fourth most read French author in the world. In the last 25 years, Marc Levy has been translated in 49 languages and has sold more than 50 million books. Today, he's just come out with Volume 2 of his novel, The Twilight of the Beasts, published by Robert Laffont. Marc Levy, thank you very much indeed for joining us today. So the storyline is articulated around 9 hackers who are fighting to preserve freedom. All are named after cities, like in the Netflix series Money Heist. And here, too, there's a strong sense of resistance and outrage. So tell us more about this trilogy and what it's all about.
I think my outlaws are a little bit different in the meaning that they have a specific skill. They are hackers. And as you may know, there is 3 big family of hackers. You have the white hat that work for security, the black hat that are criminals, and like in every criminal organization, it goes from the small criminal to the big criminality, and in the middle there is a category of hackers which are not as known, which are called the gray hats, and the gray hats are mainly, I would say, whistleblowers. They are using their skills of hacking to hack into big corporation or in government assets, and to publish documents that are establishing proof of criminal actions, whether it's economical or political criminal actions. They are whistleblowers with high and sophisticated degrees of technicality, which make them particularly efficient, but also which worries a lot the people that they are tracking. So they are in great danger. I mean, the real ones are always in great danger.
Now, they're fighting manipulative powers that you call beasts. You're referring here to social media networks like Facebook, who, according to you, are threatening democracies.
So, because that's the whole danger of the propaganda. So propaganda is, when it's efficient, it makes you believe in a parallel reality, but you're not aware that you are in a parallel reality. But the way, for example, that today's Facebook is managed and run by Mark Zuckerberg, the ideology inside Facebook, the prioritization of profit towards democracy and sense of responsibility, the lack of consciousness, and the belief, and they are right to believe that now, that whatever they do, they will never be accountable of anything except having to go 3 times a year to smile in front of the Senate for the crime you have committed. The danger of Facebook today for our democracy is extremely, is much higher than anybody thinks. Than a lot of people are thinking, of course. And the purpose of, I think, books like this trilogy and many other books is just to make you that when you innocently take a picture of you on Instagram with your children, you have no idea of what you're doing. You have no idea of the millions of data about yourself that you're spreading on the web that you don't control, and where people are going to collect those data and use them not kindly to sell you more specified advertisement, but later on against you and to manipulate you. This is, how the propagandist machine is working now. And I assure you, I'm not like, a crazy writer behind his desk being really alarmed. I'm as much as crazy and anxious as the young German in love with democracy were frightened in 1932 and trying to yell to their friends, "It's coming. You have to fight against it." And everybody was saying, "Come on, they're not a risk."
Marc Levy, thank you very much indeed for that. And we're going to move on now to another story. On April 22nd, and after 27 days spent at sea, the Energy Observer, an X-racing catamaran powered by hydrogen, arrived in Long Beach, California. The zero-emission and energy self-sufficient vessel is sailing the world to advocate and serve as a moving laboratory for an ecological transition. Our reporters were on the dock as they arrived from the Galapagos Islands.
For 3 years, this French crew, led by Captain Victoria Nessera, has toured the world to test the efficiency of different renewable energies in extreme environments. The catamaran produces green hydrogen, which is made from water and carbon-free electric sources like solar and wind power.
This is where we store our tanks. It takes up a lot of space, but it takes up less volume than batteries. For the equivalent weight, we have 8 times more energy with hydrogen than with the batteries.
The Energy Observer navigates in total autonomy, thanks to a hydrogen production chain integrated into the boat. Solar energy powers the electrolysis that separates hydrogen and oxygen molecules in seawater. The hydrogen is stored and then turned back into electricity by a fuel cell. This carbon-free process only releases water vapor back into the sea.
The energy autonomy shows that we're able to do it, but only while maintaining low speeds.
But while California is relying on green hydrogen to boost the development of renewable energies, so-called blue hydrogen still accounts for 80% of its consumption. Much cheaper to produce, it is called blue because it is extracted from natural gas and then decarbonized by capturing CO2 emissions. In 2016, Mark Mobley paid 50,000 euros to buy one of the first hydrogen cars available for sale in California. With a 5-kilogram full tank, Mark can drive nearly 500 kilometers, but the price of hydrogen fill-ups remains expensive.
It's about $16 per kilogram.
And for a full tank?
16 times 5, $80.
California is home to 90% of the hydrogen stations in the United States. But despite many more under construction, there are not enough to meet the growing demand.
The demand kind of came quickly, so as far as the industrial gas industry is concerned, we're responding as fast as we can, but the demand was higher than we had initially predicted it to be.
In just a few years, California has become the country's hydrogen mobility laboratory. South Los Angeles has the first national fuel cell vehicle research center, and hydrogen's biggest promise could be the transformation of heavy transport, such as freight and aviation, away from carbon.
Fuel cells have the advantage of fueling more quickly and having lighter weight so that you can carry more passengers or cargo or other things. And because of that lightweight, also the ability to go longer distances than batteries.
Once production and transport costs are under control, hydrogen could power the homes of the future.
Couple this with solar, batteries, and fuel cell technology to make combined heat and power in a way that's a little bit different and more resilient than doing it with solar and batteries alone.
California must combine new technologies and renewable energies to succeed in meeting the very ambitious goals set by Joe Biden, zero CO2 emissions by 2050.
Now, while all the excitement's happening over in California, let me bring in our tech editor, Peter O'Brien, who's got some nautical news for us out of Norway. Hello, Peter.
Yes, I do, Julia. Hello. I just wanted to show you this, which is the first ever high-speed charger for a boat. It's, as you say, in Norway, where the sale of electric cars has overtaken that of petrol, diesel, and hybrid ones, and boats are the next frontier. Energy companies SFE and BKK say their rapid charger in Flora Harbour is not just one of the first of its kind for boats, but the first that can charge both boats and cars. So let's hear from the owner of the electric boat company Evoy, Leif Stravesand, and hear what he has to say about it.
This is the Evoy one. We have up to 800 horsepower here, which makes it actually the fastest electric zero-produced boat in the world with 55 knots. We have 100 kilowatt hours on board here, and we can charge up to 300 kilowatts with this battery pack. So it's perfect for the fast charger, the supercharger that's now being built in Flora, which extends our range and our usability tons. We can charge this boat now in less than half an hour.
And Peter, you're staying with us for Test 24. We're going to talk about how to save the planet and how to save the oceans from plastic pollution. Now, to improve the recyclability of plastics and create new specific packaging solutions, Lactips has developed a natural high-performance polymer, Peter.
Yes, Julia, Lactips claims to have developed the first water-soluble, fully biodegradable, plastic-free plastic. Other startups have made similar claims, but regardless of who was first past the finish line, it's still exciting stuff. So this is a bag of plastic polymers I've got here, but they're all made from an organic source and can decompose perfectly easy in the environment. In the case of Lactips, they're made from a milk protein called casein. I've got one of them here, and you can even eat them. They're that biodegradable. Like
so
that.
It's literally made out of milk.
Literally made out of milk, but they ship these big bags of milk plastic pellets, which can be transformed by plastic industries into something like this, a golf tee or a multi-use film of plastic like this. But although these may be the first kind which is fully biodegradable, we've actually seen milk protein plastic used for over 100 years. It was first introduced at the Paris Universal Exposition in 1900, where it was used for things like jewelry, buttons, buckles. This continued until around World War II, when oil-based plastics took over amid the need for milk as food. And other bioplastics are made out of things like algae, starch, whey, and castor oil. If we're going to go down the route of casein, so milk protein being used, well, in the future we might not need cows at all, because various startups are growing milk proteins, including casein, in the labs.
Thank you very much for that, Peter. I hope it's looks delicious.
Not very tasty.
What you're eating there.
No.
It brings us to the end of this week's edition of Tech 24. You can watch it again on our website, france24.com.
Yeah.